Imagine this. You wake up one morning to find yourself standing at the edge of a vast, silent desert. The horizon stretches endlessly, empty but for the faint shimmer of heat rising from the sand. In your hands, you hold a map, one you followed meticulously for years. It promised treasure, fulfillment, even transcendence. You've checked every landmark, followed every instruction, and yet, here you are, parched and exhausted, with nothing but the same hollow ache in your chest. The map lied, or worse, you misread it entirely. This is not a desert of sand, but of choices. The map, the life you've been told to want, the career, the relationships, the possessions, the accolades. Society handed it to you before you could speak, whispering its coordinates like sacred truths. Work harder, climb higher, accumulate more. Then, only then, will you be happy. But the deeper you go, the clearer it becomes. The oasis you were promised is a mirage. The thirst remains. Here's the unsettling paradox. You've done everything right, yet something is wrong. You've been taught that happiness is a destination, a finish line you cross by checking boxes. But what if happiness isn't a place at all? What if it's not something you find, but something you forget? A truth buried under layers of conditioning, drowned out by the noise of should and must. Consider this. A child laughs wildly at the way sunlight dances on water. A painter loses hours to the swirl of colors on a canvas. A hiker stands breathless at the peak of a mountain, not because they've achieved anything, but because the moment is alive. These are not grand triumphs or milestones. They are quiet, unscripted flashes, fleeting, yet infinitely richer than the hollow victories we've been trained to chase. Why, then, do we dismiss them as trivial? Why do we insist that real happiness must be complicated, expensive, or hard-won? The modern world is a factory of desire, manufacturing new hungers faster than we can satisfy them. Buy this, become that, post it, prove it. The cycle is relentless, and it feeds on our deepest insecurities. You are not enough as you are. But what if the hunger itself is the trap? What if the pursuit of happiness, as we've been taught to pursue it, is the very thing keeping us from ever truly feeling it? Think of the last time you felt pure, uncomplicated joy. Not pride, not relief, not the fleeting high of validation, but joy. Was it when you finally bought the thing you'd saved for? Or was it the unexpected moment you weren't chasing anything at all? The smell of rain, a friend's laughter, the weight of a dog sleeping in your lap. We are haunted by a question we're afraid to ask. What if we've been lied to? What if the things we've been told will make us happy are merely distractions? Bright, shiny objects designed to keep us running in circles. And what if the answer isn't ahead of us, but behind? In the parts of ourselves we've learned to ignore, the instincts we've been taught to distrust. This is not a call to abandon ambition or live in reckless abandon. It's a confrontation with a far more terrifying possibility. That the path to happiness isn't about adding more, but seeing more. That the map you've been given is not just misleading, it's inverted. The desert is not outside you, it's within. And the oasis? It's been there all along. You just forgot how to drink. But how did we get here? What force could be so powerful, so insidious, that it convinces an entire species to trade joy for the illusion of it? The answer lies in a hidden problem, one that shapes our minds, our societies, and even our biology. And it begins with a story we've all been told, but never questioned. You are standing in a hall of mirrors. Every reflection shows a different version of you, some thinner, richer, more successful, more admired. None of them are real, yet you keep turning, searching for the one that finally feels right. But the harder you look, the more distorted the images become. This is not a carnival attraction. This is your mind. The hidden problem is this. We have been conditioned to seek happiness outside ourselves, in a world that profits from our dissatisfaction. The machinery of modern life, advertising, social media, corporate culture, even well-meaning family expectations, relies on one fundamental lie. You are incomplete as you are. The psychological trap, the hedonic treadmill. Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill, the phenomenon where humans quickly return to a baseline level of happiness no matter how much they achieve or acquire. Win the lottery? Within a year, you'll adapt. Lose a limb? Within a year, your happiness levels will likely stabilize near where they were before. Evolution designed us this way. Contentment breeds complacency, and complacency is death in the wild. But civilization has weaponized this adaptation. Every advertisement, every Instagram post, every self-help book promising 10 steps to eternal bliss is designed to reset your desires just as you near satisfaction. The treadmill speeds up, you run faster, and yet you remain in the same place. The philosophical prison, the illusion of the self. Friedrich Nietzsche saw this centuries ago. Man does not strive for happiness, only the Englishman does. His point? The very concept of happiness as a goal is a cultural construct, not a universal truth. Eastern philosophies like Buddhism go further. The self that seeks happiness is itself an illusion, a mental fabrication that suffers because it clings to impermanent things. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, discovered in the depths of human suffering that those who found meaning, not pleasure, were the ones who endured. His revelation? Happiness cannot be pursued. It must ensue. Yet, our society has inverted this wisdom, teaching us to chase happiness directly, like a dog chasing its tail. The societal con, manufactured desire. Aldous Huxley's Brave New World warned of a dystopia where people are controlled not by pain, but by pleasure. We now live in that world. Algorithms feed us dopamine hits, endless scrolling, likes, notifications, while selling us the idea that the next purchase, promotion, or relationship will finally fill the void. Jean-Paul Sartre called this bad faith, the act of lying to ourselves to avoid the terrifying freedom of defining our own meaning. We play roles, the successful professional, the perfect parent, the enviable traveler. But beneath the performance, the question lingers. Who am I when no one is watching? The neurological deception, the reward system, hijack. Your brain is wired to seek rewards, not happiness. Every time you anticipate a promotion, a romantic gesture, or a viral post, your dopamine spikes. But the moment you attain it, the chemical high fades. This isn't a flaw, it's a survival mechanism. Early humans needed to stay hungry, to keep striving. The tragedy? Modern capitalism exploits this wiring. Social media platforms are slot machines. Consumer culture is a never-ending buffet where every bite leaves you hungrier. You are not broken. You are hacked. The cultural hypnosis, the myth of linear progress. We are raised on the myth that life should follow an upward trajectory. School, career, marriage, wealth, retirement, happiness. But history's greatest thinkers, from Schopenhauer to Jung, knew better. Schopenhauer argued that life swings like a pendulum between pain and boredom. Jung warned that the persona, the mask we wear for society, often suffocates the true self. Yet, we keep marching, convinced that the next milestone will bring peace. But what if the path itself is the illusion? What if happiness isn't a future event, but a way of seeing? The consequences of this deception are not just personal, they are societal. A world built on endless growth, on the myth of more, is a world hurtling toward burnout, isolation, and ecological collapse. We are not just chasing happiness, we are running from something far darker. But what? And how do we stop? You are sitting in a quiet room when you notice it. A faint, high-pitched hum. You've never heard it before, but now that you're aware of it, you can't unhear it. It's been there all along, buried under the noise of daily life. This is how the hidden problem operates. The consequences of our misdirected pursuit of happiness are everywhere, yet we've learned to ignore them. They shape our relationships, our work, even our biology, slowly, silently, like termites gnawing at the foundation of a house. 1. The erosion of presence. We live in a world of deferred happiness, always preparing for a future that never arrives. The student thinks, once I graduate, I'll be happy. The employee thinks, once I get promoted, I'll be happy. The couple thinks, once we buy the house, we'll be happy. But the future is a horizon. It recedes as you approach it. Meanwhile, the present moment, the only place where happiness can actually be experienced, slips through our fingers. Neuroscience confirms this. Our brains are terrible at predicting what will make us happy. A phenomenon called affective forecasting error. We overestimate the joy of achievements and underestimate the quiet contentment of simple moments. 2. The commodification of joy. Happiness has become something to consume rather than experience. We scroll through inspirational posts instead of sitting with our own thoughts. We buy self-help books promising shortcuts instead of doing the hard work of self-knowledge. We chase peak experiences through travel, parties, or substances, mistaking intensity for depth. The result? A society addicted to novelty rather than meaning. We've turned joy into a product, something to be purchased, scheduled, and optimized. 3. The loneliness epidemic. We are more connected than ever, yet more isolated. Why? Because true connection requires vulnerability, stillness, and presence. All things our culture discourages. Instead, we settle for performative relationships, curated social media personas, transactional interactions, networking for career gain, digital pacifiers, endless messaging that substitutes for real intimacy. The psychologist Carl Jung warned, loneliness does not come from having no people around, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important. We have thousands of friends and no one who truly sees us. 4. The burnout society. The philosopher Byung-Chul Han describes modern life as an achievement society, one where we are no longer oppressed by external forces, but by our own internalized demands to be more, do more, optimize more. We glorify hustle culture while our mental health crumbles. We mistake exhaustion for virtue. We wear busyness as a badge of honor, even as it drains the color from our lives. This is not sustainable. The body keeps score. Chronic stress, anxiety, and depression are not personal failures. They are logical responses to an illogical way of living. 5. The spiritual vacuum. For most of human history, people derived meaning from ritual, shared practices that transcend the individual, community, tribal bonds that provided belonging, myth, stories that explained suffering and purpose. Modernity has stripped these away, leaving us with endless choice, but no framework to choose wisely, individualism, but no true autonomy, only conformity in disguise, scientific materialism, which explains how the world works, but not why we're here. We are the first generation to have everything we want and nothing we need. 6. The paradox of freedom. We have more options than any humans in history, yet we feel trapped. Why? Because freedom without self-knowledge is paralyzing. When you can be anything, the question, what should I be, becomes a source of torment. The existentialist Jean-Paul Sartre put it bluntly, man is condemned to be free. We long for someone to tell us what to do, even as we resent the idea of being controlled. The silent rebellion begins. These consequences are not accidents. They are the inevitable results of a system designed to keep us searching, consuming, and striving, but never arriving. But there is a way out. It begins with a single, radical act, questioning everything you've been taught about happiness. You are standing at the edge of a cliff. Behind you, the well-trodden path, the one everyone else is taking. Ahead, nothing but open air. For the first time, you realize you were never meant to turn back. The way out of the happiness trap is not another self-help hack, another purchase, another milestone. It is a rebellion against the lies you've been fed, the desires you've been programmed to want, and the identity you've been tricked into performing. This is not about positive thinking. This is about awakening. 1. The death of the future happiness myth. The first act of rebellion is to stop deferring joy. The writer who waits for the right moment to start their novel dies with it unwritten. The parent who says, "I'll spend time with my kids when I'm less busy," looks up one day to find them grown. The dreamer who says, "I'll travel when I retire," forgets that knees age and energy fades. The radical shift. Happiness is not a destination. It is a way of traveling. Viktor Frankl survived Auschwitz by finding meaning in the present moment, even in hell. If he could do it there, what's your excuse? 2. The art of subtraction. Modern life is a cacophony of more. More information, more options, more noise. But happiness is not found in addition. It is found in subtraction. Digital minimalism. What if you deleted every app that doesn't serve your soul? Social austerity. What if you only kept relationships that make you feel alive? Consumer detox. What if you stopped buying things to fill the void and started asking, "Why do I feel empty?" The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer wrote, "Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become." The rebellion begins when you stop drinking. 3. The reclamation of attention. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own, and it's being stolen every day. Notifications are slot machines. News cycles are fear engines. Productivity culture is a pyramid scheme where you're both the sucker and the mark. The radical shift. What if you stopped outsourcing your focus to algorithms and reclaimed it for yourself? Try this. For 1 hour today, do nothing. Not meditation, not mindfulness, just be. Watch how your mind fights it. That resistance, that's the addiction breaking. 4. The courage to be boring. We live in a world that worships extraordinary, hustle, glamour, viral moments. But real happiness is often found in the ordinary. The taste of morning coffee, the weight of a cat sleeping on your lap, the silence of an early walk before the world wakes up. Aldous Huxley warned, "Happiness is not achieved by the conscious pursuit of happiness. It is generally the byproduct of other activities." The rebellion is in daring to be unremarkable and finding it more fulfilling than any highlight reel. 5. The return to the body. You are not a brain piloting a meat suit. You are the body, yet we treat it like an inconvenient appendage. We eat while scrolling, barely tasting. We exercise for aesthetics, not joy. We numb discomfort with pills, screens, and distractions. The radical shift. What if happiness lives in the senses? Try this. Next time you eat, eat. Feel the texture, the temperature, the flavor. You'll discover something shocking. Pleasure was here all along. You were just too distracted to notice. 6. The embrace of meaningful struggle. Happiness is not the absence of pain. It is the presence of purpose. The artist who suffers for their craft wouldn't trade it. The athlete who pushes through exhaustion feels more alive than ever. The parent who loses sleep for their child doesn't regret it. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." The rebellion is in choosing your why, especially when it's hard. The final barrier. This rebellion is not easy. The world will call you crazy, lazy, or naive. You'll doubt yourself. You'll relapse into old habits. But every time you do ask, who benefits from me staying trapped? The answer will terrify you. You have been searching your whole life. You searched in success, climbing ladders, collecting achievements, stacking trophies like sandbags against the rising tide of emptiness. You searched in love, chasing the perfect partner, the ideal family, the fairy tale ending that always dissolved into human imperfection. You searched in possessions, filling homes with objects that promised comfort but only demanded more space, more maintenance, more worry. You searched in escape, through travel, substances, spirituality, anything that might transport you, even briefly, out of the prison of your own mind. And yet, here you are, still searching. The illusion collapses. The ultimate truth is this: happiness was never something to be found. It was something to be remembered. You knew it as a child, before the world taught you to want, before you learned to tie your worth to productivity, your value to approval, your identity to roles and labels. Back when joy was not a goal but the natural state of being alive. This is not a mystical revelation. It is a biological fact. Infants do not strive for happiness. They are happiness until hunger or discomfort interrupts it. Animals do not chase meaning. They exist in perfect harmony with the present moment. The happiest humans throughout history were not those with the most, but those who wanted the least. You were not born restless. You were trained to be. The Grand Deception civilization did something unprecedented. It convinced you that your natural state was insufficient. Religion sold you guilt. Consumerism sold you inadequacy. Social media sold you envy. The education system sold you competition. The wellness industry sold you brokenness. Every institution profits from the same lie. You are incomplete, and we have what you need to be whole. But here's the secret they don't want you to know. You were never broken. The final realization. Happiness is not a puzzle to solve. It is a veil to lift. It's not in the next job, but in the work that makes time disappear. It's not in the perfect partner, but in the courage to love imperfectly. It's not in the exotic trip, but in the ability to see wonder in your own backyard. The philosopher Alan Watts put it best: the meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple. And yet, everybody rushes around in a great panic, as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. Just the way home. Stop chasing. The moment you cease the pursuit, you realize you were always holding what you sought. Embrace imperfection. The beauty of life is in its mess, its unpredictability, its raw, unfiltered reality. Question every should. Most of them are not yours. They were implanted by people who benefit from your obedience. Return to the senses. The body is the anchor to the present, the only place happiness exists. Let go of the fantasy. The perfect life is a myth. The real one is waiting for you here, now. The last question. When you strip away all the conditioning, the striving, the endless wanting, what remains? You. Not the you that others expect, not the you that's chasing the next hit of validation. Just you, breathing, alive, and perhaps, for the first time in a long time, enough. The search is over. The desert was an illusion. The oasis was always within you. Now drink.